Tonight, a nation rallies behind Canada's baseball team. How the Jays' playoff run goes beyond the bases.
It's just amazing at what the team did for our family, and we love it.
And what this fan from day one has to say about the team bringing Canadians closer together. Plus, a stunning high-speed heist at one of the world's most famous museums.
Well, when you rob the Louvre, that's a big deal to all of France.
How thieves made off with French crown jewels in just minutes. And is it the end of an era for a key part of Canada's music culture?
We were probably about 6 days away from foreclosure.
Why the curtain may be closing on venues from coast to coast.
CTV National News with Heather Butts.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a story everyone's talking about, the team that has united a country. From lifelong fans to those jumping on the playoff bandwagon, there's no denying the Toronto Blue Jays are bringing people together. We'll catch up with some of those super fans in just a moment. First, we begin with the pivotal Game 6 of the American League Championship Series. CTV's Sean Leathong is at the Rogers Centre for us tonight, where the Jays came out on top. Sean.
Well, Heather, Jays fans got exactly what they want, and you're seeing 44,000 people stream out of the Rogers Centre after the Blue Jays won 6-2 against the Seattle Mariners, forcing that winner-take-all Game 7 that will be right here tomorrow night. Jubilant Jays fans got what they want all night from people like Addison Barger, who had three RBIs, one home run. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., of course, with a home run. It seems like he does this every game. And the 22-year-old pitching sensation, Trey Yasavage, pitching more than 5 innings in a must-win game. The bullpen coming in and shutting down the Seattle Mariners, keeping the run total low. They needed to win this one so that they can see tomorrow. And then tomorrow, if they can pull it off, they'll head straight to the World Series to play the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's amazing to think that the Blue Jays are now one game away from the World Series, but that's what they're dealing with. Tomorrow on the hill for the Blue Jays will be Shane Bieber, most likely, who has pitched well in the series so far. This place will be rocking again tomorrow. Another 44,000 fans. Most fans stood for the entire game. The loudest I've heard this place. I think it'll only be beat by what will happen tomorrow, Heather.
A thrilling night for Jays fans. Sean Leathong for us in downtown Toronto. Sean, thank you. As we've mentioned, the game is rallying a nation. The Jays, backed by fans from coast to coast, some who have been cheering on the team since the very beginning. CTV's Kamal Kermali joins us now with more on that incredible fan fever. Kamal.
Hey, Heather, it is an absolute party atmosphere here. All of these fans, as soon as the game finished, gravitated towards our cameras, and you can see how excited they are that there will now be a Game 7 here in Toronto. Fans of all ages here, some of them enjoying the first game ever, and others, well, they've been here since day one. There's no denying the Zweig family are die-hard Toronto Blue Jays fans. Catching every game.
I got Vladdy too.
Collecting every kind of jersey. Playing ball every chance they get. 3 generations of fans. All of it starting with 88-year-old Joyce Zweig, who's been a supporter since day one through thick.
You're a bum.
And thin. Remembering opening day back in 1977 when the field was covered in snow.
It was cold. It was cold, it was snowy.
Her 3 sons with her that day, quickly catching the bug.
We are not fair weather fans. We've been with them thick and thin, good and bad.
And there were plenty of good times, the championship winning teams in the early 90s to the semi-finalists from a decade ago.
Pretty much Blue Jays flavor all over.
Enough to collect all sorts of prizes, bobbleheads, and figurines.
How many figurines do you guess you have in here?
Oh, probably 200, 250 maybe.
Baseball bats and even old newspaper clippings.
Deep left field!
The latest iteration of the team, probably the most exciting for Joyce. Here's why.
I enjoy it more because I'm getting older and there's only so many good years I'm going to have ahead of me. And so it's so nice when I see them winning.
See them winning with her sons,
Nice.
who now have Jays fans of their own. In many ways, she feels she's already won, no matter what happens on the baseball diamond.
It's good and that the family has come together with baseball. I mean, it's just amazing at what the team did for our family.
And tonight had to be one of the loudest games I've ever been to, Heather. And if the fans thought tonight was loud, wait until they get to experience Game 7 here tomorrow night. Back over to you.
Kamal Karmali with some very excited Jays fans in downtown Toronto. Kamal, thanks. Meantime, Canada's talent on the tennis court was on full display thanks to Montrealer Leylah Fernandez.
The singles champion of Kinoshita Group Japan Open Tennis Championships 2025, Leylah Fernandez.
Fernandez beat her opponent in 3 sets to take the Japan Open title. This is her second title of the season, and with this win, she's reclaimed the Canadian #1 ranking. The world's most visited museum, the Louvre in Paris, is closed following a brazen 7-minute heist Sunday morning, with visitors inside forced to evacuate the building. The robbery so dramatic it played out like the scene of a movie. Thieves used this ladder mounted on the back of a truck and cut their way through an upstairs window. They stole priceless jewels worth millions, some connected to Napoleon III's wife. Among the 8 items taken, a tiara, earrings, and a necklace worn by French royalty from the 1800s. A 9th piece that may have been dropped was found near the crime scene. The suspects all fled on motorcycles.
The timing of the theft being around the time that the museum opened and perhaps before anybody was in that gallery tells me that perhaps they had some inside information that would be a good time.
The number of robbers has not been confirmed. A guide is sharing this video she captured of the museum evacuation just as her tour was set to begin, describing a scene of sheer confusion.
The visitors, they asked, did they steal the jewelries? And they always said, no, it can't be happen. So when that thing happened, it's just so incredible.
French President Emmanuel Macron calling it an attack on the French heritage, adding everything is being done to bring the perpetrators to justice. Prime Minister Mark Carney will be setting off on a trip to Asia this week to deepen trade and defense relationships in the region. Carney will meet with his Malaysian counterpart to discuss trade during the 9-day trip. He'll also visit Singapore as well as South Korea. That's where he'll end the tour by attending the Summit of Asia-Pacific Economic Leaders. Carney will wrap up the overseas visit November 1st. Relations between Canada and India have been strained for years, but high-level efforts are underway to repair the relationship, and energy could play a key role in getting that done. CTV's Jeremy Sharon explains how.
It is one of Canada's most valuable resources, and Ottawa is looking for new markets to export its energy products in the future as India faces pressure to find a new supplier rather than relying on controversial Russian oil.
Would you turn to Canada as a supplier in lieu of that?
We will turn to anywhere who can supply us. You have to understand we're a 1.4 billion population country.
In an exclusive interview on CTV's Question Period, India's new High Commissioner said India wants Canada to be a reliable partner and believes it could be.
We look for suppliers where they can be a reliable supplier. Not a supplier who today says, okay, I'm going to supply you, and tomorrow says, no, I have this problem with you, I cannot supply you.
Do you consider Canada reliable in that vein right now? Not yet.
Not yet.
The High Commissioner's comments come as Canada looks to rebuild its relationship with New Delhi.
I think there's so much at stake for both countries, so I'm hopeful at this point. It does appear to be moving in the right direction.
Energy clearly is going to be a big part of that relationship.
This former diplomat and expert on Canada's relations with Asia believes there's potential for significant Canadian energy exports to India in the future.
I think what we're seeing from the Indian side is signaling that they are interested, but that they're looking to see what Canada has to offer.
But efforts toward new trade ties between the two countries come as allegations made by former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the RCMP linking Indian diplomats to homicides and extortions in this country remain under investigation.
this will continue to be a challenge for both governments.
Global Affairs says Canada continues to engage with its Indian counterparts on law enforcement cooperation and is committed to strengthening and rebuilding its relationship with India. Heather?
Thanks, Jeremy. CTV's Jeremy Sharon in Ottawa. There is fear tonight the fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas may be buckling following a wave of Israeli attacks. Israel's military confirming it struck dozens of targets today across Gaza. The strikes were said to be in retaliation for alleged attacks by Hamas in Rafah that killed Israeli soldiers. Both sides now accusing each other of ceasefire violations. Pakistan and Afghanistan have agreed to a renewed ceasefire after more than a week of deadly clashes. The deal was brokered by Turkey and Qatar. Afghanistan and Pakistan have been locked in some of their worst fighting since the Taliban returned to power in Kabul in 2021. Islamabad has accused Kabul of harboring the Pakistani Taliban. Officials in Afghanistan deny that's the case. U.S. authorities are looking into a troubling discovery in Florida, a hunting stand with a direct line of sight to where U.S. President Donald Trump could exit Air Force One. The Secret Service says it was found Thursday near Palm Beach International Airport. The FBI is trying to determine if it was a possible threat to the president or was there for some other purpose like hunting or for photography. Alberta voters head to the polls tomorrow for a municipal election, and people are already being told to brace for delayed results. Votes will be tallied manually in this election because last fall, the Alberta government banned the use of electronic vote tabulators. It's a move aimed at boosting trust in election integrity. Some communities are being told they may have to wait days for final results. They've been home to musicians from coast to coast, but a wave of venue closures is darkening stages across the country and threatening the bands who rely on them. CTV's BC Bureau Chief Andrew Johnson on Canada's shrinking live music scene.
Vancouver progressive rockers Brass Camel boast a big sound and a big sign.
You know, if nothing else, you won't forget the name.
Their next album is being mixed by the producer of some of the biggest hits from Canadian icons, Rush. But until the big break, the band relies on small venues like Vancouver's Wise Hall.
It really does provide a vital service, because making a jump from playing for 80 people to playing for 1,500 people is damn near impossible. You need those stepping stones.
Stepping stones that are starting to sink.
Last summer was very scary. We were probably about 6 days away from foreclosure.
The stage at the Wise Hall almost went silent after more than 60 years.
We had a 4-day concert fundraiser series that raised over $75,000, and that really gave us the traction and bought us the time to organize ourselves for refinancing.
After that close call, the hall is now on firmer financial footing, but many other venues haven't been so fortunate. From Toronto to Montreal to Penticton, BC, dozens have closed since COVID. Venue owners point to a whole host of rising costs that are shrinking profit margins, a problem that really picked up steam after the pandemic. They're paying more for rent, insurance, labor, and booking artists. Shifting habits are also shuttering venues.
The artists that I'm working that are between the ages of, say, 15 and 25, let's say, their goal isn't to play this Canada country coast to coast. They want 45 million followers on social media. They want 1 billion streams on Spotify.
It amounts to fewer opportunities for groups like Brass Camel trying to build a following the good old-fashioned way.
We'll be on tour in the spring, and if you make it to your show, hope you dig it.
Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Coming up, Canada's brain gain.
The best and the brightest are absolutely interested in coming here.
How one hospital network is rolling out the welcome mat, successfully recruiting top-tier talent from the U.S. Massive cuts to science funding and health research in the U.S. is being described by some as a crisis, but one that's an opportunity for others. An Ontario hospital system has launched a program called Canada Leads, raising millions to help fund research for those who want to move north, and it's showing success. CTV's Avis Favreau on the program and the scientist who's bringing his work on cancer to Canada.
Last day,
Penn Medicine Cancer Center.
This is cancer scientist Wes Wilson.
Very close to the border.
As he leaves a prestigious position in the U.S. for Canada, among a steady flow of scientists who are fleeing uncertainty and anxiety around science and medicine in the U.S.
People are talking about Europe. People are talking about Canada and Australia. It's a weird situation right now.
And he's among the first 25 scientists recruited by Toronto's University Health Network, which raised $30 million for salaries and lab space to lure talent north, including Canadian-born Wilson.
To have that secured funding, to know that this work is going to have an impact on patients was a deal breaker.
He'll be continuing his work on CAR T cell therapy.
Every little bit counts,
to treat cancer, along with using AI to uncover new therapies.
Without someone who knows not only the medical part of it, but also the biological, but also the AI, is absolutely essential. And so Dr. Wilson fits that bill exactly.
The hospital says over 600 researchers from the U.S., Europe, and Canada have applied, with 75 more positions being filled in the coming months.
The best and the brightest are absolutely interested in coming here. What's keeping them from coming here are opportunities and funding. Because when we've made this funding available, we've seen massive interest in this.
The reality is that few Canadian hospitals and universities can fundraise for programs like this, and Ottawa's support for research and development has been dropping since 2020. Canada is now second last among G7 countries. And studies confirm innovation creates new industries.
We found that every $1 you put into research and development, you'll get approximately $5 back in return. And that goes to jobs, that goes to products, that goes to businesses across Canada.
And so with proof that Canada can score a brain gain, scientists will be watching to see if Ottawa also invests more in research to make this country a science destination. Avis Favreau, CTV News, Toronto.
Still ahead, a rare find in Quebec. How an old book opened the door to a family's past. FIFA says more than 1 million tickets have been sold so far for next summer's World Cup. As expected, the highest demand is from those in the host countries of Canada, the U.S. and Mexico. There's still time to nab a spot for the World Cup final in East Rutherford, New Jersey, with prices ranging from $9,500 to $57,000 per seat. It's the kind of discovery you'd never expect from an old book, a piece of the past now connecting two families, two provinces, and one remarkable chapter of Canadian history. CTV's Caitlin Wilson has more.
We have two different kinds. We have a ration book 5 and we have ration book 6.
It's the last thing Sherry Laurent expected to find when she picked up a couple of old books from a church sale in St. Lambert, Quebec, more than 30 years ago.
I can't remember if they were all in one book or maybe in 2 or 3 books, and I just noticed them and I thought, oh, I'll take these books.
Tucked between the pages, pieces of history frozen in time.
This one was the newer version. It has a couple more pages.
They were ration cards issued to Canadian families during the Second World War when things like sugar, meat, and butter were strictly limited to help stretch supplies and support the war effort.
My parents are both deceased, but they, lived through the war and that sort of thing. So I've heard about them, but I had never seen them in person.
For years, she kept them on a shelf before moving to Ottawa, where they sat in a box until recently when she came across them again and wondered who did they belong to. So she turned to Facebook, posting a few photos and a name.
Within minutes, I had a couple of people, hey, I know that family, I could put you in touch with somebody. So it literally took less than an hour.
Her search led her to Ian Keeler in Brossard, Quebec, the grandson of Don and Agnes, known as Nessie Keeler. The names written on the outside of the books, which also belong to his father and uncle.
The part is really interesting. I'm a very big interested in my genealogy. So I was very, very keen to get those ration cards because to me it added another piece of the history.
He says his grandfather had immigrated from Trinidad, served in the First World War, and married his wife in Scotland before the couple settled in what's now St. Hubert, Quebec.
It's a lot harder to to find stories and the links to past when the people are no longer with us. You've got to go with little bits and pieces of paper you find in books.
Now Ian's sister plans to meet Sherry in person to collect the ration cards, a small act of kindness closing a chapter roughly 80 years in the making.
That book has 2 stories. That is the original story of the book, and also the story of the World War II ration cards. And I think that's just very, very, very interesting.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
Still ahead, the latest guessing game in Fredericton. Why a popular walking bridge is becoming famous for all the wrong reasons. We leave you tonight with a bizarre contest seeing a lot of traffic in Fredericton. Not about a sports team or the first snowfall, but a guessing game, guessing the date for when an overpass will be struck by a truck. As CTV's Sarah Plowman shows us, it's already happened multiple times this fall.
Fredericton's walking bridge is popular to stroll over or pass under. A month ago, this was the attraction, a semi stuck underneath halting traffic. 2 days before, a different truck, the same position. New England Pizza launched a contest. Who can guess when this will happen next?
I wasn't expecting anything this year. I was expecting, it'd be next spring.
Guess right and win a $100 gift card. 23 people chose last Friday when it happened again. The owner will pay out $2,300.
Oh, I'm over the moon. This is great. It's good for engagement. It's good. It's just good for everybody. Everybody's laughing, having a good time about it.
Across town, another contest from a company that makes road signs and made one to highlight how many days it's been.
It was the chatter of the town. Everybody was talking about it and wondering why. It keeps happening, but it's the GPS routes. We have construction going on downtown.
One person won a gift card and sign, and now the contest restarts.
I have a prediction of, I think, November 19th range. I'm giving it a little bit of distance, but we'll see.
15 times since 2007, a truck has struck this bridge. The city says it does inspections of the bridge and doesn't anticipate any structural issues to the underpass from truck strikes. There are warnings for drivers that this is just 3.5 meters high.
Every time it happens, I swear, at family dinners, everybody's like, hey, guess what? Somebody hit the bridge again.
Will it happen again or when? That's anyone's guess. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
That is our newscast for this Sunday night. I'm Heather Butts. For all of us at CTV National News, thank you for watching. Omar and Sandy will be here tomorrow, and I'll see you again on Friday. Good night.